Alright, we are back. Now we have covered the data types part of this section. Let's move towards the logical part. We can put logic into our programs using an if-else statement. But before we continue with an if-else statement, which is just like English, oh well, if this thing is true, do this, if this thing is false, do that. Well, what did I just say? I said if this thing is true. This true or false sense is covered by the Boolean data type. For example, is the door open? This thing called false is a Boolean. The Boolean can only be of two values. It can be true or it could be false. So you can say, well, the door is not open, so I assign that a value of false. There are no strings here. There's nothing. There's just false. And there's also another one which is true. Remember that the first value is capital and all other are small. That's very important to make sure that it is written like this. Now I can write another if-else statement, a very simple one. For example, if, let's declare another one. If password is valid, show the user that the password is valid, right? Now, let me show you what I have written just now. This is an if statement. An if statement is just like we talk in English, right? I mean, we say, well, if the door is open, do this. If the password is valid, well, let the user use the website. Okay, then if this thing right here is valid, then this will run. Sure, you understand that part, but the syntax is very simple here. This thing right here has to be convertible to Boolean, and Python will automatically convert your code, this thing right here, the expression, into a Boolean. For example, if I pass here 1 will be automatically converted into a Boolean, which is true. 0 will be automatically converted into a Boolean, which is false. 0 is false. As you see, nothing is printed here. And here's another interesting thing. If you type this false, this will be converted into true and not false. So if there's also a data type called none, and none is also considered a false, as you can see. So make sure that this thing that you're writing, the expression here is very meaningful. Now what if I have another option where I want to just do something else? If the password is not valid, just tell the user, give me the right password. You just write it like this, else with a colon, and you can just print, well, your password is not valid. Very simple. You can just run that again, and well, it says your password is valid, but if my password is not valid, then it says your password is not valid. Pretty cool stuff, right? Well, not quite. There are more cool things that we can do here. For example, an if-else chaining statement. What is an if-else chaining? Well, we just don't want this 50-50 thing where, well, if this is true, then do that. If this is true, then do that. Well, we might have more things in real world. For example, if you were looking at a real world scenario, you say, oh, there are 6 colors I want to choose from, and I have to write 6 ifs then? Well, not quite. You can just write 6 if-elses, and you can say, well, if one of them colors is true, that if the color picked by the person is blue, give them specific type of thing. You can imagine a scenario like that. Now let me show you with examples so you will understand better. For example, let me comment that out so we don't have any confusion. I'm just saying, well, is the light on? Just print the light is on. Well, there's another thing here. Now I want to have an if-else chaining. I want to have multiple if-elses. Well, I can just write elif. Elif in Python means else if, like in real language. Well, is the door open? If it is open, just print the door is open but light is off. Cool. There's another else statement, which means that none of them were true, and this would run. The light is not on, the door is not open. Now let me explain it to you if you still don't understand it. This thing right here has to be true, and in all these statements, if this is true, these all will not run whatsoever. Whatever happens, if the light is on, these will not run. So light is on, let me show you. Yes, the indentation error. Okay, you have to have something here, so we're gonna comment the whole thing out. As you can see that it says the light is on, and it's just that this is the only statement that's running. These are not running at all. You have to understand that when you're writing an if-else, chained if-else, the only one of the things will run. None of the others will run at all, whatever you do. So what if the door is open? You know, the door could be open. Let's say I say that the door is open. It doesn't care. The door is open. I don't care. Well, then how do I run this? Well, you can turn off the light and the door is open but light is off. Now what if both of them are false? Then it goes to the last statement. That is the else statement, that everything else is false, nothing ran, but this is about to be running. So you can write as many ifs as you want, as many as possible, as many as you want to write. In the next few lectures, we will discuss about using these if-elses and more interesting scenarios, which will be more realistic than just assigning this true or false to a variable, but being able to actively comparing things and deriving booleans. I'll see you in the next lecture.